Hello, I'm Anthony Gray, as it says up there. This is my UAL Music Performance and Production Level 3 Diploma presentation for my final major project ideas. I forgot that was there. Just click it again for me. So, for this idea is recording a live performance at Indie, not just playing, having it recorded live at the same time. So we'll be recording a performance at Cafe Indie with the help of a few production students, most namely Brendan, as this was also one of his ideas on his project. Idea 2 is a really long song. This idea did start as a joke, however I thought it would be the perfect way to express our skills and progress we've made on this course, and how this idea would be done would be recorded in a studio and done for basically the normal set time of a song, so around 25 minutes. Throughout this idea we'd be switching genres throughout the song through really cheeky ways, like through bridges and all that stuff. Just give it another click for the visual example. That's my visual example.
Very good.
The next one. The last idea is a final made.
Let me go back. Idea number 2.
Yeah.
Put it in layman's terms again. You're going to get recorded in the studio.
Yeah, recording it in a studio for the amount of time we would have
Make
on
sure
a
you
normal
mention
set.
who you're collaborating with. Who you collaborating with.
Well, again, we'd be collaborating with production students and also my band, which is Alyssa, Chris and Ronnie. Preferably we'd be collaborating with a group of the students like Brendan and Riley or some other students who work on production, because they know the system way better than us performers do.
How would that work collaboratively with Idea 1?
Well, we would be Idea 1, the recording a live performance. So preferably we'd be at the venue of Cafe Indie to play at a gig, and the production student would be using, alongside with the sound engineer Holly, as I've spoken to Holly about this idea before, a production student like Brendan would be behind the scenes over there recording the instruments through the intakes they use to produce our sound on stage.
Perfect. Sorry.
So, last idea is a live performance at Cafe Indie. We have done this before, and that's why I thought it'd be perfect to do it. This involves cooperation. We'll be performing with several other bands. I will name those later when I expand upon this idea, as this is the chosen idea I've gone for. This is my definitive edition for the final major project. My band will be performing on the 1st of April 2025. I've chose this idea because Cafe Indie is both familiar for a lot of the bands here, and it also opens the door for like future projects, such as whether there's people who are at that gig who are scouting bands for stuff, or just other bands there who want to play at other venues, so you can go and support them. Sorry for the jump scare. Can I go for the next one? Why this idea? I come here for the gigs. As a lot of other bands here do, we come here mostly to go and play at venues. We like playing our instruments. We enjoy going to these venues and playing for people that we don't know. Indie is easy to get to and it's really hard to miss. If you've been to Indie before, you know it's a massive building with huge glass front. It used to be a co-op in the back of the day, and it's only around 21 minutes from college, and that's walking, and a lot of people will just get a lift. It opens the door to meet new people. As I said earlier, you can always meet new bands there, people who want to work with your band on merchandising or getting you to other venues. I met with scenes at Indie, I met someone from Warren Records who wanted to get my band down in the Warren in Hull at some point. It's a learning opportunity for future gigs. Obviously people make mistakes on stage. Quite a few people made mistakes on stage at quite a few gigs I've been to before, and mostly, namely me. But it's an opportunity to learn from those mistakes, and it involves major cooperation. There's always going to be other bands playing at these gigs. You're always going to be working with them whether you like it or not. and it helps you to adapt to the way other bands work as well. Can you just get to the next slide, please? Requirements. So first requirement is a full band. At instruments such as guitars, basses, drums, and other instruments people may use like keyboards and sometimes violins and trumpets. Spare instruments. I always make sure to have a spare guitar at Indie whenever I'm playing there. There are always spare instruments at Indie. There's spare drumsticks, spare basses, spare guitars, all that stuff. Pedals. I know I use pedals. I use a fuzz, a distortion, tuner pedal just to make sure everything's alright on stage. Ronnie uses a distortion pedal and Alyssa has an overdrive pedal but hasn't used it yet. Spare drumsticks. I'm just going to look at Chris for this one. Jack to jacks. Everybody uses jack to jacks unless you're a weirdo. Picks. Please use a pick when you play guitar, and amplifiers for both bass and guitar because nobody's going to hear you without them. Microphones. You don't want to just be shouting at the crowd. That's bad.
What mics?
So I believe the ones we use here at college are SM58 Shure microphones.
Correct.
They are my favourite microphone to
Do you
use.
know what type of mic they are?
I don't actually remember the name of the thing, but it's that one where it's like a ball there and a little one there, and it's great. Dynamic.
That's the one.
That's the word.
Do you know what polar pattern it's in? It's in one polar
Unfortunately,
pattern.
I don't.
Stuck in one polar pattern.
Copioid. Cardioid. See, I got that off the top of my head. There's no one behind the camera telling me these things. Next, please. So, our band members are me, Anthony, Chris Walsh, Alyssa Page, and Ronnie. These are the pictures. Chris, get back on there. So Chris plays the drums for us in every single song. Ronnie plays lead guitar. I play rhythm guitar and I do lead vocals, and Alyssa does bass and backup vocals and sometimes does her own songs on stage too. So, expansion on this idea wouldn't be possible without other bands. The other bands at this college we do normally perform with are Overture, which are the level 2 band. They've been writing some original songs that do sound quite well. 5 Second Rule, shout out SWOTP. I love watching them perform because they do quite a bit of cartoon themes that I used to watch, and that is hilarious. The Antidote, which is the level 3 extended band, and Poets Corner, which is a fan favourite in Scunthorpe right now.
Are they?
Yeah. They're everywhere. It's annoying. It really is. Up there. Press the button. Secret panic.
Oh my god.
So the points I want to talk about here is the collaboration with other bands. None of this project would be possible without other bands. We can't just go by ourselves, do one gig for 25 minutes and expect people to like us. Obviously you'd have to think about who's playing at what time, how long their sets are going to be, who's headlining, when it's going to be, what time it's going to be at, where it is. Without other bands, it just wouldn't be possible. It's too hard to do it on your own. The venue and the date, Cafe Indie is where we'd be playing, and the date is the 1st of April 2025. How college helps with this? College helps by bringing equipment down from the college for us to use, namely cymbals and kit, pianos, keyboards, their own guitars, and many other equipment. College also helps with getting down there for some people. A lot of the performers make their own way down there and spend their time beforehand, but they also do a major role with setting up. College helps us set up the equipment if we don't know what the hell we're doing. College does a lot for this project. The risks, obviously you could trip over your equipment. Some people might not figure out the way down there. It is a bit of a trek, but it's an okay trek. And there are risks of just absolutely embarrassing yourself on stage like I'm doing stood in front of you all. The rewards, you'll have fun. It's a gig. Everyone has fun at a gig, unless you're weird. Next one, please. Thank you for listening. Has anyone got any questions? Yes, Donnie.
So, who you calling Donnie first of all?
You.
Second of all, what was the need for the Batman sounds?
It's to help keep you engaged, because
It worked.
it works. You were all listening, except him.
What?
Anything else?
Ronnie, any questions? Charlie?
Hmm?
Question?
Nine.
In terms of the idea too that you had for that really long song, what kind of genres would you have done?
Well, I wanted to transition from our main genre, grunge, at the start to maybe some other genres that other people like. Alyssa quite likes Fleetwood Mac, and I'd want to change like somewhere in between the song into that kind of sound. It would be very difficult to do, but that's why I wanted to do it, to showcase that we can do it. Obviously, Ronnie doesn't like the same genre as we do, so I'd want to transition into something Ronnie likes throughout
What does
that.
Ronnie like?
Around funk, sort of like Queen sound, stuff like that. And whenever we're practicing, I'll like tell him to play something while we're setting up, and he always plays some funky guitar riff. It's
Have you
lovely.
thought about not doing stuff like that for Ronnie on a few songs?
We have done. We did Hey Joe on one of our things, which was Jimi Hendrix, and we've been thinking of bringing that back for our last gig, which is why the set list isn't final yet, because I don't want to just stick to the same sound, because it makes us sound repetitive.
Do you think Ronnie could have a choice on
Absolutely.
few songs? Like
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Screamer, Stevie Wonder. Any other?
Any other questions? No.
Very good, that.
Thank you.
Really.